I am Jen, JMO Jen, just my opinion. I wanted to take a look at ways to use cannabis. And most people start out with the obvious and go the other way. I'm going to change it around this time. This video is dedicated to people who don't necessarily want to feel that heavy high feeling, right? So, say you have pains and aches in your body, digestive issues, you get headaches. There are lots of ways cannabis can help without giving you that high feeling. So, I'm actually going to start today with topicals. Topicals are going to be, when you hear the word topical, it's gonna be a lotion, a cream, an ointment, a gel, maybe a spray, or some sort of product you can put on your skin. Topicals also include what we call transdermal patch. And those are the patches you put on. I think probably the most familiar would be like the quit smoking patches. Other people have different uses for patches, but there's a medication in the gel on the patch, and you put it on your skin, and it's absorbed slowly over time. Um, Lotions, creams, ointments, sprays, these things, believe it or not, can have active THC that if you ate it or inhaled it, it would actually give you a cerebral or brain effect, right? It would give you that kind of high inebriation or intoxication. Those are words that are used. But with topicals, you can have decent amount of THC right in the product, and it's not going to go to your brain. It's actually going to bind to the receptors right there where you put it. So it's going to be received right there in the area. So we'll go to work on arthritis, on joint pain, on inflammation, on exercise injuries, muscle strains, all kinds of nice things. Um, it affects the local area, and it's not intoxicating. Now, let me say, if you can get a very high amount of THC in a patch. That product is made, a patch that's a very high THC amount. And over time, it takes longer. It's still not, you might feel a little bit of a cerebral effect, but it's going to be more like relaxation, or it's going to be subtle and soft. It's not at all going to be like smoking or inhaling it, not at all. So, if you are nervous about using cannabis and you have achy bones, achy muscles, right? Trust me, I have a bad knee from sports, my lower back from a car injury. I have old scars and stuff. I get headaches, or I got headaches. I can literally take a drop of cannabis oil and put it on my forehead, and it makes a specific product that I know works for me. That makes my headache go away. I'll get into deeper detail. I'm going to break down these different methods of use in individual videos, but topically, that's what it's called. You're going to look for an ointment, a cream, a lotion, a skin spray, something that's meant for your skin, or a transdermal patch, or just a patch. If you say, do you have patches, they'll explain to you. Most medical dispensaries in Florida, they have a pretty good idea. If not, feel free to contact me if you have specific questions, especially about Florida products in the legal medical dispensaries in Florida. Send me a message on Instagram, and I will do my best to answer your question specifically. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the second way. That was the first way, topically on your skin. The second way is orally, and that's going to be in your mouth. Basically, orally means eating it, able to be, or into your mouth, oral mouth, right? So, oral ways to consume cannabis is going to be tinctures or drops, right? And those you just hold and drop a couple of drops under your tongue. You can even put it in your coffee or tea, or, like you don't, you can put it in something that you're actually consuming. because especially a liquid like that, because it's an oil and it'll stay on the top, and when you sip it, it'll go right into your mouth. So but it really, you won't really, it's not a big taste usually unless it's specifically flavored, and still they're not. It's very simple. So you have the tinctures, capsules, sprays, and edibles. Okay, so these are all different ways. Edibles are just you hear what edible? It just means it's able to be eaten. That's all. And those come. You can get them in like gummies, like the gummy bear kind of, that texture of candy. So you get them in gummies and gels. They'll call them gummies or gels, often depending on whether they're vegan or if they have gelatin in them. So gummies or gels, mint, like little mint that's like 5 milligrams of THC that you just put in your mouth, like a breath mint, a little tiny breath mint. Lozenges and hard candies, lollipops, all different kinds of hard candies. It can be infused into baked goods like cookies, brownies. Come on, we've all heard of pot brownies, right? Um, Cookies, cakes. There are all kinds of treats that are being made now that are infused with medical cannabis. It makes it easier for people want to, who don't want to smoke, actually get the benefits, the health benefits from the cannabis. There's RSO, which is Rick Simpson oil. This is a concentrate. It's like a viscous, a thick oil that you can use to add to any kind of food, to use it, to eat it. You can use canna butter, which is basically taking the marijuana and putting the cannabis and putting it in the butter, and you warm it for a certain temperature for a certain length of time. We'll get into the details of edibles. I'll do a video just about edibles. I'm just going over the basic ways. So edibles is going to be the food you eat that is infused with it. Other ways to orally consume, which is another edible way, is with capsules. You can get a pill or a capsule that has RSO or distillate or THC oil in the capsule. So you just swallow it like a pill, no big deal, right? You can get tinctures, like I said before, the drops. And they also have like sprays. And I've even seen like squeeze bottle drops you can add to your drinks. Also, in the edibles category, I wanted to cover beverages. There's teas, sodas, coffees, all kinds of things that can be infused and are infused as products. Now, I haven't seen a lot of beverage type products yet in Florida. I'd love to be part of that project, but I'm sure they're coming soon. So I want to tell you about orals. Anything you put in your mouth, there's two ways they're going to affect you. So it can be a little misleading when you're when you're using cannabis orally. First of all, you have the effect of the THC in your mouth, and that is called sublingual. It means under your tongue, right? If you look under the tongue, see all those blood vessels, right? You have tons of blood vessels and capillaries in your mouth. So if you take a tincture and you drop a couple of drops under your tongue and you sit and hold it for as long as you can, but usually at least 90 seconds, right? A minute and a half, but longer if you can. The longer you hold it in your mouth, the more that THC is going to go right into your bloodstream through the blood vessels, right? And that you might start feeling some euphoric effects in about 15 to 20 minutes. It's still subtle. It's still not like inhaling, right? We're going to get to that at the end. But ingesting or orally using cannabis you can get an effect in about 15 to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, around 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and it comes on, and you're also absorbing it through your digestive system a little bit, just a little bit yet. But it can take a full 2 hours to get all the effects of what you do orally. Because when you swallow cannabis, it has to go through your digestive system. It's absorbed in a different way, and then it's processed through your body. Honestly, for medicinal purposes, especially for the digestive system, if you have Crohn's disease or irritable bowel syndrome, any digestive disorders like that, ingesting cannabis is going to be, in my personal experience, the most healing. Like, yeah, I am not a doctor. I am not part of big pharma or the medical system in any way. My opinions are personal opinions and from personal experience, firsthand or immediately firsthand, working with someone who's um, experiencing health issues. So I'm just saying, digestively, give the part of your body the medicine that needs it, right? So if your digestive system is ailing, then give your digestive system the cannabis through edibles, tinctures, capsules. Rick Simpson oil capsules are something that's really good. And let me demystify. Don't be, what is, oh, she said RSO. RSO stands for Rick Simpson oil. It was named after the guy who made it. He came up with this, and that's what we call it. It can also be called like full spectrum cannabis oil or FICO or you know uh what it is they take an alcohol based solvent, like something usually you could drink, like grain, like a grain alcohol, very high, like Everclear, very high proof alcohol, and they put it over the cannabis leaves and make sort of an alcohol tea. All those oils and a lot of the phytonutrients and the can on the lipids, all the good stuff, all the oils dissolve into the alcohol, and they take out the plant material, the leaves that are left over. They take that alcohol and they let the alcohol evaporate out. And what's left after the alcohol is all gone is called Rick Simpson oil. It's very simple, and all it's doing is pulling all the oils out of the plant and kind of concentrating them. In my personal opinion, Rick Simpson oil or full spectrum cannabis oil is going to be your top bet for ingestion. And you can simply, it comes in a little syringe, not with a needle, but just a blunt tip syringe. And you can literally squeeze a grain of rice sized piece out on, like, I like to use like a taffy candy that you can fold over. So I'll just maybe stretch it a little, just put a little rice, half of a grain of rice. Start slow, put a little tiny dot, see, and then check 2 hours later to see how you feel. Is your belly, my belly, I can see my swelling. I will look like I'm pregnant. I'll eat RSO, and 2.5, 3 hours later, my belly's smooth and flat. I'm not kidding you. A lot of times we think that our bellies are big because of fat, and sometimes it is, absolutely. But often it's because it's so inflamed inside that it's pressing out. And so if it's not inflamed anymore, you'll look more flat and more, you know, you're not going to be all bloated and blah. Anyway, so orally, and I will get more into edibles and orals. So just remember, the first way to use cannabis is topically on your skin like a lotion. Second way is going to be orally. You're going to either do drops inside your mouth that just sit there and soak in, right? And don't worry, if you do swallow it, it's just going to take a little longer to take effect. But you know what the good news is? It's going to last longer. Edibles last 6 to 8 hours. You can have edibles before you go to work, you know, sip, don't gulp. I'm just saying, if you have digestive issues and you're running to the bathroom all day and you're embarrassed, it's uncomfortable. I understand. Listen, so you go, you take some RSO in the morning, and you have like 6 to 8 hours of relief through the day. By the time you get to work, it's going to start. And be careful. Don't use any that will put you to sleep, right? And we'll get into the details. But orally, I'm excited. Can you tell? It's a good way to use it. Topically is great too. It goes right in, and you don't have any effects, like any mental effect at all, any like intoxicated or dizzy feelings. You don't get any of that with a topical, unless it's a very, very potent patch that stays on your skin, against your skin. It's in about 2 hours, like in a little while, that the doses will start circulating in your bloodstream, and it's meant to stay on for long-term relief. Those are great. The transdermal patches are going to be great for your back, stuff like that. Like an area that aches all the time and just yeah. Anyway, so we've got topically, we've got orally, edible capsules, tinctures, and sprays, nano sprays. They're coming with all kinds of new stuff, beverages, all kinds of stuff. And then the third method of consumption is going to be inhalation, and that is you're smoking, right? Or you're inhaling. Now, don't be afraid. Smoking is not the only way to inhale and get medicinal benefits. You can actually, those Primatene Mist sprayers, or the asthma, the inhalers for the asthma, they are now making what they call metered dose. You don't even have to have any heat involved, and you can carry it in your pocket. You shake it up and you press and inhale and hold, allow it to absorb into your lungs, and you get relief. There's also, you can use what, and I want you to be really careful with this one. You can use a vape, but make sure you're getting medical quality. You want glass tanks, you want ceramic heating elements, and you want clean distillate. Like you want live, you want rosin, you want very as close to the plant as can be. You don't want mixes and crazy blends necessarily. Just be careful. And we'll get more into the ins and outs of vaping, because I actually will have a physical reaction to low quality vape. I've gotten blisters in the back of my throat. So be very careful. These are methods that are fast, direct delivery. Always, always sip. Don't get crazy. And here's the thing about vaping. This is live rosin. This is just cannabis oil. There's no additives, ingredients. There's ceramic heating element, and it's all glass and medical grade metals that are used in this. So it's like an inhaler for me. I just simply, and it's a little dry sometimes. It depends on the strain and the, what strain is in it and what the terpenes that are in that strain as to how. But just take a little at first. Let's start on the lowest temperature setting. And I feel the dryness. I almost want to cough, but it's not that bad. It's not making me cough. And I hold it for a second because this is just cannabis oil. There's no carcinogens. There's not any smoke. There's no burnt plant material. There's nothing, right? Nothing in it except live rosin. And my body absorbs it. Most of it. Did you see the exhales? Hardly anything there. Anyway, so you can vape. And that's also very simple, very easy. If you want to get into a more sort of primitive method, you can do what's called dabbing, which is another inhalation method. And that's going to use something that maybe looks like this. This is called a nectar collector. The idea is something hot, and this is a medical grade, it's a heating. It's a heat. It's specifically to be heated and inhaled through. But this is called the nail, right? And you use a torch lighter, not a regular lighter, but like a little torch, and it makes it really red hot. And you just have a little bit of the liquid. Like you can get this oil. See that yellowish oil? You can get that, right, in a syringe, like I showed you with the RSO, like this, right? And you just put a little spot on a heat-proof surface, and they sell for like $1 or $2 at the smoke shops. You can get a little silicone. It's like a little silicone box. And what I do is I use the lid, and I just took the lid and I put a little drop, right, of just a drop, literally a drop, and you're not even going to use all that. Just heat the tip of the metal until it's red hot. And then by the time you put your lighter down and you pick up your lid, it's going to be about the right temperature. And then you're just going to gently touch the edge of that drop with that hot metal while you're inhaling. Gently, go slow. Just touch it a little bit, breathe in a little bit. Don't take a big cloud of smoke into your lungs, because it's different, or it's not smoke. My bad. This is vapor. And you're just heating, it's just heating the oil until it vaporizes into tiny little particles. It makes like a cloud, and then you inhale the cloud. And this also you should hold on to if you can. Don't make yourself uncomfortable, but if you can just like hold your breath for like 6 seconds or so, um, more of the particles will stick to the inside of your lungs and you'll get more benefit out of the medicine. So, and that's tricky. Listen, I was prejudiced against this until my back was in so much pain that really, I mean, other things were helping, but I was finding myself using more and more of the other products because I couldn't get it relaxed enough to relieve the pain. Like I couldn't get comfortable enough to even sleep right. So I did. It was fate. One of my local dispensaries had a buy one get two free, so 30% off. I mean, that was a good deal for a try. And so I tried, and my back pain stopped hurting. And so I'm not going to criticize that anymore. It's very possible to get carried away and let it take over your life, but it's a psychological addiction at most. It is not physically addicting. You can become dependent on the pain relief, absolutely, or the anxiety relief, or whatever it is that you're looking for and using cannabis. You can let the high take over and you can run with it, but it's not something that's going to give you physical ailments if you just stop cold turkey, like many big pharmaceutical medications, right? Mixtures and things. Um, and the last way, of course, we all know smoking it like a cigarette is a very common way to say it. Smoking it like a cigarette. But there are other ways to smoke it as well. You can, oh, yeah, you can roll it into paper like a cigarette. You can use a glass. You can buy, and this one only costs like $25. You can find ones that aren't very expensive. You can buy really interesting, fancy, custom type pieces, and a lot of hand blown glass is one of a kind. So if you do like collecting and you're into art, absolutely check out some of the artists that blow glass for cannabis use. But you don't have to, you can get a simple glass piece. It's not clean right now. This one's nice and easy. You simply put the cannabis in the little bowl. The bowl lifts out, right, of the little place. You light it. See the smoke? And when you lift the bowl up, it stops putting more smoke, so you can just clear it all out. That's the only reason I pulled that out. And it has a little handle. It's easy, but you don't have to. That might be too complicated. If that's too complicated, especially to begin with, you can get a glass piece that just has a little hole on the side. So you literally just put your finger on the hole and take your finger off the hole once you're ready to stop, right? Like once you're ready to clear it out. And all that does is clear all the old smoke. Like you get all the smoke from that light that time you lit it, right? Anyway, I'll get into more. We'll talk more about smoking, but you can also vaporize both cannabis flower and the oils, so you can get something that's like like an electric cigarette. This one is interesting. It has the heating element on the end. This is called a terp pen or a vape. A dab, DAB, dab pen. But it's basically has a heating element on the end. No buttons. It just has a little charging port where I plug it in to charge it. And let's see, here's the blue light. The way you turn it on is by simply drawing air through. So I turn it on and then that heats this. And so then I have that little container with the dot. Instead of heating all that stuff, I just draw through and touch it. and keep drawing like a straw, breathing it in, and then put the lid back on it and it's all ready to go. These are nice. I found this particular one you have to kind of leave it on the charger so that the charge doesn't last long, but that's because it's a heating element and it's a small, like it's just a small battery with a heating element, and heating something takes a lot more power. Anyway, so we've gone over the methods of consumption. Just remember, there's 3 basic methods. You can use and enjoy the medical benefits of cannabis topically on your skin with oils, creams, lotions, patches, that kind of thing, even a sprays, gels, anything you put on your skin topically. So you can use it topically, you can use it orally, which is either putting it sublingually under your tongue, in your mouth and holding it, or swallowing, and which is what we call edibles. So ingestion or through sublingual in the oral category. And then we have smoking and inhalation, which is you're smoking, you're vaping, you're dabbing, your metered dose. If you don't want to be in the weed culture, marijuana, pot, you just want like medicinal cannabis, but you do want to inhale it into your lungs or maybe try and help heal your lungs, you can always start with a metered dose, which is like the little asthma inhalers. And it's simply a pump, inhale, you hold it for a few seconds, follow the instructions on the particular unit that you have. And if you have questions anytime, even for your own products or how to do something, how to open something, how to anything, get the most out of just send me a message and I will do my best to answer your question personally. So yeah, we had topical, oral, and inhalation. And those are the main 3 ways to use it. If you like this, follow me, hit the notification bell so you know what is this called, subscribe or follow, depending on which platform you're watching me on. And then hit your notification bell so you know when I put up new stuff. I might be answering your question if you send me one. Anyway, so you can use cannabis, marijuana, pot, weed, MMJ, any of that, even if you don't want to smoke it. And you can have active THC and THC containing products, activated THC containing products that do not necessarily give you that euphoric feeling. So don't be afraid. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I'll be back again soon. I'm going to do Wookie Girl strain review coming up soon. That's a nice one. I think I have blue cheese. If I haven't done that yet, I got to check and see which ones I've put up yet. But I have blue cheese and Wookie Girl as 2 strains. Lots of strain reviews coming, so stay tuned. Thanks so much, guys. Have a beautiful day. Peace, love, light, joy.